Good morning, Scapers. We have a This Week in RuneScape for the 4th of December. So grab your cup of coffee and let's get ready to read. Alright, we have the Master Cape customizations and December Community Hitlist this week in RuneScape. This update is stuff with changes in our December Community Hitlist strike, Mod Ramen's Cape customization, and the new deals on the currency packs. As you can see, they changed the particle effects for the Master Max Cape. We have active events. The Christmas Village is active until January 4th. And then this week we have a weekly buff of the free daily challenge extensions. Moving on, we have the Community Hitlist December edition, the Excalibur. The end of the year is fast approaching, but we've got enough time to squeeze in a hit list strike and tackle some of the most requested quality of life changes. This time, the team has been working on revenant enhancers into a currency to free up those pesky bank slots. Updates to several audio requests players have been asking for, adding in the ability to drop items from your backpack by shift-clicking them, adding a load last preset option to the bank chest, bank boosts and bankers, refreshing the rare and super rare loot tables, and changing how Excalibur is functioning when clicked. Phew, that's not all the team's been up to, but check out the patch notes below for a full list of changes. With all that out of the way, the community hit list will be taking a break until January, when we will get back to addressing more of those players' pet peeves. Next up, we have, like I said earlier, we have the Master Cape particle recoloring. So now it's kind of just like the Max Cape or the Comp Cape, but it'll have a particle effect at the bottom, so you can definitely customize it for a lot more things for your fashion scape. Next up, we have the Ultimate Christmas Currency Pack. Planning to treat yourself in RuneScape this Christmas? Well, the Ultimate Currency Pack offers the best value of key bundles this season, with the bumper offering of rune coins, knowledge bombs, prismatic stars, and some wonderful winter Holly Night cosmetics. Our medium and large currency packs are also contain double the usual amount of keys, as well as some additional umbral chests. Here you can see kind of what the cosmetic looks like. It's like a knight armor with Christmas theme. So it looks like they're going to be doing 3 different variations of the currency pack. You have the small, medium, and large, going from $8.99 to $88.99. Different umbral chests, different rune coin amounts for each one. Looks like 10, 10, and 20 stars. You get a different amount of knowledge bombs and keys for each one. And all these currency packs are in one-time purchase for each offer and will be available from today until January 3rd. You can find them in the Treasure Hunter shop on RuneScape.com. If you are in-game, you can click Updates and Extras and head to the marketplace to see the bundle. While the Holly Night cosmetics are part of the bumper Christmas bundles above, we know this offer won't be available for everyone, and we'd be interested in rocking the festive warrior look. If you one of those players, will make sure you can pick up the Holly Night armor and sword in the Premier Token store next Christmas. So you don't have to buy these; you can get it within the Premier Token store next Christmas. Alright, moving on. We have the Treasure Hunter calendar, and as of right now, it is the Academy of Heroes from December 4th until December 10th. The end of the the Echo of Arc Glacier is back again, bringing a second chance to get your hands on some seasonal Azure theme overrides. Keep an eye out for the Treasure Goby, defeat them and you'll receive extra wrapping paper. Now, we're moving on to the patch notes, which is the biggest section of this part this week, which is awesome. So diving in, we have the community hit list, the Excalibur, the Enhanced Excalibur, and the Augmented Enhanced Excalibur now have consistent default actions activate when equipped from the backpack. This allows Excalibur's hearing special to be activated with ease. Players can now configure option to choose whether to, instead of wield or remove, as the default action. After dragging Excalibur from the backpack to the action bar, you can choose which default option the action bar uses. The configure option also lets you choose what you'd like to shout when the Excalibur is activated. Silent is the default option. That is all really cool, especially for PVMers. You can now hold the shift key and click items in your backpack to drop them, if they support dropping, of course. Players will need to opt into this setting by navigating to gameplay, interfaces, and then inventory, and you can enable it. Doubled the output of Dino Arrow components, the Sharp Shell Shards, the Tempered Fungal Shafts, the Propellant from the 3 accidental fletching and fire making activities south of the Anacornia Dinosaur Farm. and to support a greater range of low to high intensity gameplay. Wherever possible, bank chest, boosts, and bankers will now have a load last preset option that reloads your most recent bank preset without the needing to open, populate, and close your bank interface, which is awesome. The Dare to Die song at War's Retreat now fades in more gently and plays at lower volumes so that the drum track is more gentle on the ears when passing through the PVM hub. A looping ambient sound of crystal chimes has been removed from the Tower of Voices in Max Guild and Triff to better suit extensive bank standing. A repetitive moan in the zombie walk idle animation and audible to all players has been removed. A repetitive meow in the idle animation of some cats and kittens audible to all nearby players has also been removed. By player request, we've reverted the sound played during clue scans to its pre-June version. The individual changes to the Revenant drop answers can now be stacked in your currency pouch, freeing up some of your bank space. When loading in a bank preset, including items that can be filled with essence, their current contents are now emptied into the bank before refilling them in case they contain a different type. Rebalanced an update of rare and super rare loot tables to remove some of the less valuable items like the Runite Stone Spirits, Molten Glass, and Raw Lobsters, and increased variance of items dropping in multiples. Players standing on charge pad during the Zamorak boss battle when the Infernus Witch dies no longer need to step off and on to charge the pad, which is awesome. Clarified the starting point description for the Toket Dill quest. Multiple items can now be added to the keepsake box, including enhanced boots, protein flower, or protea flower, the superior Zerial staff, the superior dragon weapons, superior rock shell armor, superior spined armor, superior skeleton armor, monkey trinkets, K-Cat, mud mask, fairy wand, pendant of Lucian, oh that's kind of cool, mining helmet, the Gophanon amulet, hope I pronounced that right, the cattle prod, the mouse toy, elite death lotus, legatus pendant, bug lantern, Incamdo hatchet, and the list of overhead emotes can now be filtered to only show the emotes you've unlocked. Alright, we have Game Jam. Misty in the Deep Sea Fishing Hub now has 2 shiny new chat options. She'll tell you how long it's been since the current encounter started. No more guessing at how fresh the traveling merchant is. If no one is currently present, she will instead tell you how long it's been since there was an encounter. She will then pass on rumors of what stock the traveling merchant has that day. When purchasing the items in slot 2, 3, and 4 of the traveling merchant, it would erroneously show locked instead of sold out to the shown items that were out of stock. This has now been corrected. When the game servers reboot as part of the weekly update, there was a 45 minutes before the first encounter in the deep sea fishing could appear. This is no longer the case, and such encounters can now potentially, with RNG, appear immediately after a game server reboot. Alright, moving down the list, we have the Zemo and Vorkath. The Lord of Bones now reduces armor at 0.2% per stack to a maximum of 40%. The Vorkath's Ice Circle attacks no longer damage Dreadnips or Saren spell prisms. The Vorkath Breath attack has been updated to provide better visual feedback. Hard mode achievements had been added for the Zemo and Vorkath battle. Insane Final Boss achievement now correctly shows and tracks hard mode as well as pet requirement. Some items obtained during the Battle of the Fort War Chest are now noted. Zemo summons spawn location change to avoid spawning underneath Vorkath. Players now only take damage if they step in a pool of poison. However, if a pool of poison spawns on them, they can mitigate damage by running to an empty square when the pool appears. If crossing a single pool, they only take damage once when the player steps in it. Added the Vorkath Necromancy weapon overrides to the Zemo and Vorkath encounters drop table. Alright, Christmas Village. Iron Men can now purchase double wrapping paper from the marketplace. Updated the bank in the Christmas Village to better fit the environment. Updated the trees in the Christmas Village to fix the textures on the snow pile to craft snowballs. Smokey the Coal now moves more slowly and is easier to interact with. Some missing windows have been rebuilt within the Falador and Lumbridge. Remove some unnecessary options on the advert calendar icon on mobile. Fix several graphical issues with the Christmas lights in Falador and Lumbridge. Vorkath will now appropriately award wrapping paper. Some Christmas lights in the fort will no longer float when remove roof is enabled. The stolen decorations of the southern Varrock have been returned by the imps. Fix some of the duplicate text within the combined text of the Christmas scarves and hats. The Varrock Eastern Gate can now be passed through correctly. Players will now have their transmog removed when speaking to various NPCs around the Christmas village. Free-to-play will now be able to purchase the winter hat and winter scarves, or the Christmas spirit store. The ice fishing waterhole has been slightly adjusted, so it no longer has a darker square shadow within it. Clicking on a button to open different interfaces on the Treasure Hunter progress bar will now reopen Treasure Hunter when closing the interface. Some various typos and inconsistencies have been fixed across the Christmas event. A Christmas tree is now in the Grand Exchange, now has a fence around the trunk. The advert calendar now mentions the prize received when opening the window. Some lampposts in Varrock have had their string lights appropriately attached. Mince pies can now be noted and traded. The text on the advert and event buttons within the Treasure Hunter have been made brighter. Snowballs made within the Christmas village now give you up-to-date reclaim information upon attempting to destroy them. The Fort's Chapel decoration have been returned by the Snow Imps. To see the changes, re-enable the Christmas decorations via Zoe. Alright, now we have General. The But It Won't Warp You Anywhere achievement can now be completed again, fixing an issue where certain items equip while using the fill or empty option within the bank interface. The Samurai Outfit override should now appear in correct categories. The King and Queen of Hearts pack and the King and Queens of Spades pack weapon override should now appear in correct categories. Fixed an issue where players could be disconnected when attempting to empty the giant pouch. Fixed an issue where selecting lost item button and the bug report interface would open up an incorrect web page. Items in the ore box will now be saved on death unless it is a PvP death. That's awesome. The ladder inside the Blue Moon Inn now functions once again. The in-game clock should now refresh as expected. That is great. No more getting it messed up by the presets. Alright, moving on, we have the engine. Fixed an issue where necromancy conjurers were failing to find the right route during combat, causing them to get stuck. The Lumbridge water wheel has now been fixed. That is really good news. Fixed an issue where setting a high frame rate limit would result in dramatically lower performance on some machines running recent versions of Windows 10 and Windows 11. Fixed an issue where forcing aniscopic filtering via the NVIDIA control panel would result in the game's interface rendering incorrectly. Fixed flickering artifacts of point light shadows and some less common hardware. Fixed interactions between interface scaling and field of view. Fixed an issue where the game failed to launch via Steam for some users with Intel graphics cards. Fixed an issue where some games would crash when minimizing the game window on AMD GPUs. Fixed various Android crashes. Improved quality of game rendering scaling. Improved quality of interface scaling on desktops. Improved quality of FXAA on mobile and on desktop when render scaling is not at 100%. Improved performance and game rendering quality when interface scale is not set to less than 100%. Improved performance and quality when game view is resized using edit layout. Reset game render scale settings to account for Windows and Mac DPI scaling due to performance issues. Players wanting native 4K can manually change the settings back to 100%. Players using 4K resolution may observe UI and game rendering being upscaled to 4K at high quality, costing some FPS depending on the system displaying scaling settings. Whew, that was a mouthful. So now we're moving on. We have the community. We have the community showcase with some awesome looking swords from the Elder Gods. And we have some more awesome stuff. Looks like the head of Vorkath. That is a great screenshot or art. And then we have some screenshots from in-game, wearing some of the new hats and stuff and the Christmas village and our lightings. And then last but not least, we have our pink skirts events. They have Corrosis, and then they have Monkey Takeover, and then Town Square Question and Answer. And that pretty much wraps up all of this week's stuff in the December 4th update. Alright, Scapers, that was a little bit of a longer this week, so I appreciate you guys sticking around and apologize for it running a little bit long. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and ring the bell to stay updated. Your support means the world to me, and until next time, take care and stay awesome. Bye.